Hi guys, Melissa here. So I just kind of came upon an idea for a new comparison video. I'm going to compare student grade paint to scholastic grade paint. And I have, for comparison, I have the ArtistLoft tube paint, the Pinto tube paint, the ArtistLoft pan set, and the Winsor Newton Cotman pan set. So the only one I'm really not that sure about is the Pentel. I think this kind of falls right in between the student and the scholastic. Let's see. We'll start with the ArtistLoft pan set, and this is $4.99, and you get 36 colors. You get a wide variety of colors, and they're really fun actually. I had this set for quite a while, and the colors I'm gonna do are lemon yellow, cobalt blue, Prussian blue, red, viridian, vermilion, and yellow ochre. And obviously with this set, it's gonna be somewhat of a guessing game, and there really isn't an actual red in here, but I'm gonna do my best, you know. So the difference between the student and the scholastic set are obviously the price. So the scholastic sets you're gonna find for around $5, and then the students are gonna go from, you know, 10 to 30, maybe even $40, depending on how big the set is. So all right, let me get started with this first. So I'm thinking this looks like a lemon yellow, so I'm gonna start with that. These I noticed with the watercolors that are the scholastic sets, and even a bunch of the student grades, a lot of times they tend to be very opaque. Alright, so let me find the cobalt blue. We'll try that out. Which isn't a bad thing to have the opaqueness. It covers, you know, it like I said in a previous video about the opaque watercolors, is it's good for people who like to stamp and color in their images. Let's see, Prussian blue. Let's try this out. I really do like these colors though. Let's see, for red, I'm gonna go for this one. I think this is more of a pinkish red color. So anyways, for the scholastic sets, what they do is it says they contain inexpensive pigments and dyes suspended in a synthetic binder. Formulas are chosen to be washable, non-staining, and suitable for use by young children. They are good for beginners to learn the properties and color and techniques of painting. So for this set that I'm using right now, this ArtistLoft, yeah, it's $4.99, and I believe Michaels carries ArtistLoft. They're great for, you know, like I said, stamping and coloring in your images. They're really good for young children, but there is definitely a difference between the scholastic and the let's see, sorry, the scholastic and the student grade paints. So for vermilion, which is kind of like a bright orangish reddish color, I'm gonna try this one out. Not bad. And yellow ochre, let's see. I did do a run of colors just to, but I did it last night, so I'm trying to remember which colors I used. So yellow ochre, yeah, that's close. So there we go, not bad. Let's see, so for the Pinto, I have the tube color, and let's see, I got 2 things of water over here just in case. So for the Pinto, we're gonna start with the lemon yellow. And the Pinto are $11.25, so that's why with these, they to me are right on the line as far as being scholastic and student. To me anyways, they're right in the middle. They're starting to become student grade, but maybe on the lower end of the student grade, because you got to remember, student grade also includes the Winsor Newton Cotman and the Koi, and those are, you know, around $30. So yeah, these are the lower end of that. Here's the Prussian blue, and this set actually has these names, so Cobalt, Prussian. For the student watercolors, they, one second, they have characteristics that tend to be similar to professional watercolors. So you're going to be able to do a lot of the same techniques. For the more expensive pigments, they are going to use what they call hues. And hues are just a combination of less expensive pigments to represent the same color. But when you use a hue, since you're using multiple colors to create a color and not the actual true pigment, you run into the problem of not having such a clean color if you're not using a single pigment. And then when you mix colors, it can tend to get a little more muddy because just the different colors of the pigments don't mix quite as cleanly as a single pigment. Also, the availability of pigments are going to have an impact on whether or not a company chooses to make their color a hue. But hues can be professional grade. So just because your color is called a hue doesn't mean it's not professional grade pigments. It's just they had to use pigments to make that color. And that's new to me. I've been trying to learn more about watercolor because I am new. So, okay, again, this is the Pinto. And to me, like I said, this is between a scholastic and a student grade. So we're going to move on to the ArtistLoft, which is $4.99 for 12 tubes. So this to me is a scholastic grade paint. And that doesn't mean it's bad, it's just the cost and the materials used to make it is what it's going to determine it being scholastic. But you can make very pretty paintings, and people do all the time with less expensive watercolors. So here's the cobalt. Here's the Prussian. I'm using the 400 series watercolor paper by Strathmore for this swatch test. So here's red. I think I got a little too thick. And for my brush, I'm using my Black Velvet number 8. I like this brush for the swatches because I can be a little rough on it and it doesn't bother me too much. So there's the Viridian. Next is the Vermilion. So for the paints, Pinto is basically twice the price as this ArtistLoft. And you know what? This ArtistLoft is like super thick and it's sticking to my brush. The Pinto didn't do that, so yeah. It's like in order to get enough color on my brush, it's definitely a scholastic grade paint, but does not mean you can't create pretty artwork with it. Okay, so there's the yellow ochre. And last we're going to do the Winsor & Newton Cotman pan set. And this is definitely a student grade. I wanted to try and do the Crayola, but I couldn't find my kids' Crayola, so for the fourth color I'm just going to go ahead and do the Winsor & Newton. So we have just different grades of student and scholastic paint going on. So the Winsor & Newton is around $30, a little bit more, but it's definitely has the same properties as a sorry guys. So in the Winsor & Newton, I don't have cobalt and Prussian. I believe I have Prussian and ultramarine. So here's the I don't have my names with me. So I believe this is the cobalt, or I'm sorry, the ultramarine. So these blues are gonna be different. Yeah, I got them backwards, I think. Sorry about that. Red. Viridian. I really like this Viridian color. vermilion. And yellow ochre. Well, there we go. There's the swatches. And let's see. So a list of the brands that you can look at for, let's see. Sorry, I have some notes here. So student quality watercolors would include the Grumbacher Academy, and for 10 tubes that's $30 for 7 milliliters. You've got the Reeves, which is for 10 tubes is $12.55, and those tubes are 22 milliliters. So I think the Reeves and the Pinto are either the higher quality scholastic or the lowest quality student, because they're around $10 for $12 for the 10 tubes. The Winsor & Newton 10 tubes is $31, and those are 8 milliliters. Van Gogh is also a student grade, and for 10 tubes is $29, and these are Blick prices. An example of scholastic brands would be obviously Crayola. Faber-Castell has a 12 pan set for $11.28, so I imagine those would be on the higher end of the scholastic watercolors. And then obviously ArtistLoft. So, you know, it's up to you and the needs that you have for your art. And I just wanted to kind of put it out there and let you know the difference between the scholastic and the student grade, and also a hue, what the hue means, because that was a question I've had. And it's interesting to know that hues can also be professional grade, but they are also used in student grade to not have to use the expensive pigments. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll be back with more for sure. Bye.